Today is Tuesday, June 24th, and it's Christmas Eve in June.
Ho, ho, ho. I'm Bruce Turner in Lynchburg, Virginia.
I'm Jeff Zayas, ho, 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 in Napa, California.
And I'm Robert Taylor in New Orleans, Louisiana. Ho, ho, ho.
Hey, I'm Duke Carrico, and I'm naked from the waist down. Hey, guys, on this edition of Tech and Coffee's Android Journal, we're going to revisit the Amazon Fire Phone. Is it brilliant or is it a fail? And Google I/O happens tomorrow. We're going to talk about what we expect. Hey, all this more apps and reviews. So, good evening, guys.
Christmas Eve, huh?
Oh,
well, when
yeah,
you said ho ho ho, and then I'm not wearing anything underneath,
And let's keep in mind, Robert is the real Santa Claus guy with the Santa Claus letters.
Yes.
Hey, guys. Google's 2014 I/O is going to happen tomorrow, and we'll get there. But I thought before we would, let's revisit. See, this time last week, it was the eve of the unveiling of the Android Fire Phone. There was a whole lot that we didn't know. But I know several of us, at least Jeff and myself, watched Amazon unveil this phone live. And, okay, I'm just going to go down the line here, and then I want you to tell me why. But let's start out. Bruce, is this thing a winner, or is it just a big fail?
I will say this Amazon Fire Phone will not fail in the same way that the tablets Amazon has put out have not failed. I don't know why Android Authority says this phone will fail. It may not. It's not going to be the most popular phone on the market, but it speaks to a particular niche of Amazon purchasers, so I don't think you can say it will fail. I'm not wowed by some of the little, unique things that it has, and I'm looking forward to putting my hands on it in our local AT&T store. Not that I would seriously give it a consideration for my phone, but I don't think you can say it's going to fail.
Jeff, your turn.
No, I agree wholeheartedly with Bruce. I think it's not going to fail. I think it has hit a sweet spot with the power users of Amazon Prime, and it's a competitively priced, sort of, but when you get that $100 Prime membership included in it, it's well worth it, and I like some of the features of the phone. So I think, either you hate Amazon's ecosystem or you love it, and I think of those people that like it will like the phone immensely.
Robert?
I have to disagree. Just because Jeff said it's not going to fail, I'm going to say it is going to fail. And I'm going to give you a couple reasons why it fails. One, it's on AT&T only. This is a critical newbie mistake for anybody who says we just need to be on one carrier. That is a mistake. That is wrong. Two, Amazon Prime membership, that's included, that's all well and good, but the phone is still a high-end priced phone. And I don't buy $199 for an Amazon phone. I don't get that. Will it succeed? No. I don't think so. I think it's going to sit out there, and I think it's just going to kind of float along. If they change the price, if they change the number of carriers that are available to it, it has a better chance. But those two things as they sit right now, it makes it a fail for me.
Will they change the price? Will they add carriers?
Don't know.
All right.
I think they've already probably locked in for 2 years or so, or X amount of years with AT&T. I'm sure they've locked in some kind of contractual agreement.
Oh, surely they did it for 2 years, did they?
Well, they must have done it at least. I mean, if I'm a company like AT&T, I don't know how long they had the exclusive for the iPhone, right? But you wouldn't go out on a limb just for 1 year, right? You'd have to have at least 2 years in there, because mostly you sign up for a contract, it's usually 2 years, right? So at least the initial contract time.
The part that bugs me about that is that Why the hell does AT&T say we want exclusivity? It should be AT&T saying to Amazon, hey, we want your phone because we want your user base. No. That Amazon turns around and lets AT&T say, okay, you can be the only one who can get our phone. That's nuts.
No, I don't. I think the $199 is probably covering their costs. And
man, the thing's like $700 out of $650 off contract.
Right.
I mean, this is not a $650 phone off contract.
Agreed.
Yeah. But Amazon's no fool. I'm sorry, I got a call coming in. Let me mute myself. You guys go on.
Just go ahead there and grab a phone. Robert,
it's Amazon calling.
I'm going to continue on with you here. Let's talk just a couple of things. First of all, if you're a Prime member, then the phone turns out to cost right at $100. Okay, and let's keep in mind too that Amazon's first hardware product was a Kindle reader that debuted on the market. Don't hold me to this, but I think it was 2007, and it debuted for $399. Now listen, they sold those things out just like in 4 or 5 hours they were gone, and then they showed up again and they sold a few more, and then they started dropping the price. Will the Prime phone start dropping in price in a few months?
I don't know, but there's two totally different circumstances going on here, Duke. Think about back in 2007 when the Kindle actually hit the market. We didn't have a flood of phones available or flood of tablets available at that time like we do with phones now. Consumers have more choices of on-contract, off-contract, lower-end priced phones, better spec'd phones. There's nothing enticing about the phone itself. You haven't wowed me with the price. You're telling me, oh, that $99 Prime thing makes a difference. Well, I look at that like bundling with the cable companies. Bundling is a load of baloney. Okay, I'm already a Prime customer. Yeah, you're going to give me $99. You're going to extend my Prime contract by another year. I guess so if you want to count that as a savings. But you've already got me as a Prime customer. What's going to make me a Prime Fire phone user? Nothing. There's nothing about this phone.
I see. I'll let Bruce go ahead. You go.
Let me make a prediction. This phone will surpass Windows Phone for sure.
I agree.
I'm sorry. You said something so small and minute I didn't hear it.
Yeah. Okay.
I want to talk to a couple. 5 phones, basically, is what I think.
5 phones, yes, 5 phones, and yeah.
Right. Okay. Robert, you're just a little bit wrong, and I think they didn't. Did they hit one out of the ballpark? No, but did they hit a triple? Yes, they really, really did. There's some features about the phone that are very enticing.
I don't know how much you guys remember the when Apple debuted the iPhone. The iPhone it was certainly innovative, but it wasn't innovative at debut because an App Store did not exist when they debuted the phone. They kept talking about IMAP email like it was something, and I had a Palm Trio in front of me that was rocking IMAP email, and they were acting like it was something exclusive. I'm just wondering, first of all, Bruce, I want to ask you this dynamic perspective that was called 3D until Amazon unveiled it. Is this a gimmick or is this innovation?
It's gimmation. It's gimmicky from the standpoint of looking at it, and seeing the picture move around. I don't think that's where those sensors are going to come into play. I think where those sensors are going to come into play is other aspects and how it will interface with different applications that people can write. I'm not so concerned about being able to have these weird views. I don't think that's where it's going to be at.
All right, fair enough. And before I move on to Jeff, I've got a question to Jeff. But last week you were pretty hard on this phone, Bruce, and it sounds like since you've watched the keynote unveiling of this phone, you've softened a little bit. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Okay, fair enough. Hey, Jeff, the
I'm- I-
Firefly button.
Yeah, and I think those cameras actually play into the Firefly button a little bit.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I like,
yeah,
I like,
I agree.
I-
Is the Firefly button a gimmick or is it innovation?
it's innovation,
Absolutely.
totally innovation, and it also plays right into their strength. Compare and shop and compare, or find out more information, and do it in such a way that you don't have to bring up the app. You
Right.
press a button at the side. It's mechanical. Very smart. And also as smart is they have one of the big. I think they did it. They built it from a user's perspective a little bit. I have a hard time looking at my phone in bright sunlight, right? And they really were showcasing that whole idea that you could wear sunglasses and still see your phone outside and read it and really use it, and things like that. So I think they put a lot of thought into the user interface, the user experience, and I think it's going to bear out in how the phone moves forward. So I'm not ditching my Razr Max.
Right.
I'm not going to AT&T. I'm not getting out of Verizon.
Oh, but Jeff!
No, but hold on. Let me finish. I'm not ditching it, but if I had to switch and get something else, I would seriously consider this. If I was switching from Verizon to AT&T for some reason, I would look at this. I would
Never underestimate Jeff Bezos. That would be my closing comment.
Yeah.
on
Yeah. Okay. Hey, Robert, on to you. This thing is using a version of Nokia's Maps. Does this matter to the person who's going to buy this phone, the person that Jeff and Bruce are talking about? Does it matter to them?
I think it does matter. And as we will discuss later on in the app section of our show, Google Maps is king. You got a long way to go before you can topple that throne. There is a lot about what Amazon is offering that can be said as positive. But there's a lot of pieces that have been kind of clumped together. The perspective, the dynamic perspective, I'm not sure that's going to catch on. May sound unique, but to me, I just don't see that catching on right away. The Firefly is the only thing on the phone that is truly a unique Amazon innovation. If I had to give one selling point, that would be it. But everything else, from available apps, that's something like only 25% of what is available in Google Play would be available on the Amazon Prime Fire. So, in the end, does that matter? Yes. If you're an Android user, you want the full Google experience, not some hobbled down or tchotchked together phone. That's my opinion.
Yeah, but I would say the Android phone, the Amazon phone is a hybrid between Apple and Android. It is a fixed ecosystem that people like to use, right? And I think that ecosystem works well for those people who don't want to have something fully customized, don't need to understand it, just want to press a button and have something take place. So I think that
I think that's true. I think that's true, and I've already heard a couple of journalists say that what Amazon has done with the Android operating system, they have basically created another operating system. Now we
Absolutely.
have Microsoft,
Yep.
iOS, Android, and Fire OS. Because and something that I've come to realize is Android is another way to keep me on Google. iOS is a way to keep you in Apple's ecosystem. Okay, and I think that's what's going on here. I've got one more question just to the group, and then we're going to move off of this because we've got so much sweet stuff to talk about, guys. But I think we're all in agreement that this Firefly button is truly an innovation. It's going to be great for Amazon. How hard will it be for Google to mimic something very similar in an all-encompassed, push a button, find out what song it is, get a price on a product, or look at something and do some sort of a search? How hard will, if Google was to mimic this, How hard would it be for Google? Robert, I'll let you go first on this one.
I don't think it would be hard at all. We already have the ability to listen to a song. We can tell what the song. We can listen to lines of a movie and identify that. We can already do barcode scanning to identify products. The thing that does make it difficult for Google is, and where Amazon will exceed, is they control that retail back end to sell it. Google does not. At best, they can tell you, hey, you can go to Best Buy and buy this, or you can go to Office Depot and buy that, or you can buy the music from us here. Amazon is the one-stop shop for all of it. That's where Amazon has the edge, even if Google does mimic the Firefly button.
Okay. Jeff, you got anything to add to that?
I agree that Google could do it, and and they probably will do something similar. They would have to absolutely mimic it. They'd have to get away from the idea that there would have to be some kind of gesture-based thing where you can hit your phone like this and do it, or something like that where it's a hardwired item. And I also agree that with Robert that they don't I don't buy stuff through Google. I buy it through Amazon, right? I mean. And I don't shop on Google, so it's not going to happen right now.
Bruce, what do you got to add, brother?
I think Robert's hit it really quite well. Somebody can do it, but it will never be as seamless as the Fire Phone.
Yeah, I think, and I agree with you too, Robert. All the technology is already there. What Amazon did to innovate is what Apple would do. They just took what was already there and put it together in one slick total package to where it's kind of seamless. Yeah, man.
One nice little button.
Yeah, absolutely.
There you go.
All right, hey, man. There's been so many announcements that's been coming out in the last few days, and I thought we would start with this one just to give a little background on this. Google purchased Nest here a while back. Nest is basically it's a thermostat. It's a smart thermostat for your home, and very popular with iOS users. Google bought it and just tore so many Apple fanboys up when it was announced. Anyway, Google said that they were going to let, even though they own Nest, they were going to let Nest run as its own company. Well, Nest announced, we've been hearing some rumors for a couple of weeks, but it became official this week, June 21st, as a matter of fact, that they were buying Dropcam for $555 million. Now, the race is on to create the smart home, okay? Robert, how will Nest utilize Dropcam?
The interesting thing about this particular market is that there are a couple of players that are out there, and their approaches are all a little bit different. With Dropcam, they're starting to recognize activities, and that, in my opinion, is one of the most crucial things, is that when my son leaves for school every day at 7:20 in the morning, okay, I don't need to be alerted to that, okay? But if my son comes back in the door at 7:35 or 7:40, I do need to be alerted to that. He missed the bus. He walked back in the door. Something happened. So what Google is actually doing is taking all of the different elements that are important: environmental control, security, and activity, and marrying all those three together to make your home work according to how you work, the things that you do. If you walk out the door at 7:20 every day, that's fine. It will learn that activity and then choose to ignore it. It's when something happens outside of that that it's going to take an action or do something. That's a very important part. My problem is I'm not sure I want Google to know that level of activity inside my home.
And I think it's fair, and I want to come back to that thought in just a second. Hey, Jeff? How,
Well,
how will Nest utilize DropCam?
I don't know how they're going to utilize it. I think they're going to, they probably want part of their technology and then use what Nest does, what Robert talks to, that predictive analysis, and marry those things together. So it's kind of a marriage of technologies and what one does better than the other, or different techniques, and kind of pull it together. But I wanted to just comment to one thing when you opened it up, that Google is going to let Nest run autonomously. Yeah, maybe for a year. It's not going to happen like that. Look at YouTube. YouTube, was folded in. They got to run the way they wanted to, and now they don't. So and I think Google does want, in a big way, home automation like everybody else. That's the new one of the frontiers, and they're going to compete on that. And I think it's both technology and then a marriage of the two kind of actions, and it's all going to be part of Google.
Bruce, Nest has said that it's not going to share any kind of DropCam data with anyone, including Google. Okay.
Well, first thing I want to say is every single solitary national brand of security company that comes in and sets up security, they have all that information too. So it goes places. So I don't think, saying that, and I'm trying to think about ADP or they all get that information. What do they do with it? They've all got these data centers and stuff like that. But that being said, let me say this: when you think about a wireless high-tech thermostat, what comes to your mind is Nest. When you think about wireless IP camera, one of the first brands that's going to come to your mind is DropCam. What they're doing is they're marrying top brands in each of these categories, and they're going to put them together. And when Nest says this is our all-encompassing product, DropCam, Nest thermostat, Nest smoke detector, whatever, it's going to be able to compete better with the brand recognition, with Apple's branding, and they're doing all this stuff, but they don't necessarily have high brand infrastructure on their products. So I think brand is the big thing. Nest, DropCam, notable, and will work good together.
And the best at what they do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I think just a second here. Here's my concerns. Obviously you talk about privacy, and Google in your home, and Google had once upon a time, I think they actually told the FCC this, that they envisioned, a future where they would deliver ads on our refrigerators and so forth, etc. And everybody got a little bit upset over the privacy concerns of, well, Google knows what I'm buying, so forth, etc. But a privacy concern that I think of now that we've got these excellent cameras is Google's going to know my total home habits. They're probably going to be able to see me in some form or fashion, maybe not next year or the year after that, but on down the line they'll be adjusting the temperature in what rooms are being occupied, so forth, etc. Does that concern you guys any at all?
No, but I think what happens is they're going to know when you're out or when you're in, right? And then they'll start serving up different ads or serving up different things on your searches based on where you are.
But they don't need cameras to do that now, Jeff.
No, they don't. But I mean, it's just another data point. It's just another aspect. So, I'm not so much scared about them adjusting the temperature or anything like that. It would be more of, I guess, the security of the ultimate hack when people know you're not at home, or something like that. Because sometimes the bigger the player, the bigger the apple, right? So. No pun intended. But.
Yeah, and I think there ought to be a way that you could opt out of that. And let's face it, most of your power companies where you guys live right now have a program where you can pay less a month on your electric bill if you allow them to control the heat and the air during different times of the year. So I think it's much ado about nothing. I think you ought to be able to opt out of something like this. If it was a forced thing, I wouldn't want to touch it with a 10-foot pole. I want control, just like I have control over my PC, the programs that I add, which webcams I'm using. And by the way, let's remember that these wireless IP cams are not hack-proof.
Exactly.
You know, I mean, you can do a pretty good job. I mean, I'm sure Robert has, I would trust his to be really secure. But a lot of people go out and buy these cams, like I had 2 or 3 for my mother-in-law who passed away recently, and monitored her. You know, when you're out grocery shopping and stuff like that, and some of those things can be easily hacked.
You do have to be very careful about it. And again, we're going to give them the full benefit of the doubt and say that the systems are fairly secure out of the box. It's not like the old days when you went and bought a router and people just plugged them in. Now they're actually telling you, you cannot set this up unless you define your own personal passcode and your own, it's got to meet this stringent of security. You might not like it, but they're making you do it in order to set it up. Period. That's it.
All right. Hey guys, I'm gonna move on down the line. One, because we talked about the Amazon Fire Phone a lot longer than I intended for us to. So I'm gonna move on down the line. Hey guys, this is I love Tech and Coffee because I was in here hanging out, and I was just someone asked me a question there in Tech and Coffee. Said, hey, what do you think about Google registering website domains? And I was like, I haven't heard that. And he said, well, let me share you a link. And he sent me a link to The Verge. And listen, man, Google has started quietly testing a service for registering website domains. And on the surface, this looks like a direct competitor to GoDaddy. Okay? And I guess basically you pick your URL, and Google is going to have a service to where you check it and then you can register it to them. It looks like what they're starting with is right around $12 a year. And what do you think, guys? Does GoDaddy feel threatened all of a sudden, Bruce?
By Goo Mama.
I saw that. That's funny, Bruce.
Yeah, GoDaddy versus Goo Mama.
Yeah.
Listen, there again, when it comes to getting to, I use Hover, not Hover, but Hover. I did have some sites with GoDaddy, and I moved everything to Hover. But they're going to have to compete just like everybody else competes. I mean, I think I highly prefer Hover to GoDaddy. I don't like being upsold all the time. I'm not sure, again, what Google would do with all this information, what the tie-in would be with their ad revenue business or whatever. But be interesting to see, though.
Robert, what do you think, man?
I don't know that they're shaking in their shoes, but I can bet it got their attention. GoDaddy, is probably the world's largest domain registrar, short of NetSolutions. But in the end, I question why Google is actually doing this. I don't understand it. There's got to be more to the play here. This might be a start, but there's more on the back end coming. And if I were GoDaddy, I'd be looking really hard, really, really hard.
Can Google take something like this and merge it with its Blogger platform?
Oh, most definitely.
To really become some sort of a force in the industry when it comes to just building websites, period.
Yeah,
Jeff?
I think so, and I think if you read this article, they're going to partner with Squarespace as well. Which use the templates, make it really easy for someone to set up websites, and it's going to make them really easy to add AdWords and really easy to put the advertising on there, and it's really going to be easy. So there's going to be just so many people jumping and doing this. And does Google have the infrastructure to support it? Of course they do. right? Can they do it the right way? Of course they can, right? Why are they doing it? Because they want it all. You know.
We want everything.
We want everything, baby. We want your websites. You're gonna have driverless cars. You're gonna have those things on your glasses. You know, you're gonna look at your thermostat. You're gonna see the word Google. You're gonna see that. You're gonna start wearing Google shirts. You know, they want it all. You know, it's a brand, and why not? They can do it.
All right. I'll tell you what, man. I think this one's going to be interesting to watch. I don't know where they're headed with it. I know they're bound to have some sort of a long-term plan, a long-term goal, and I had missed that on Squarespace. Thanks for pointing that out to me. Squarespace is some pretty serious stuff. It's pretty cool CMS, just drag and drop, add this module. If you wanted to do this, add this, and you know, they've got a excellent reputation in the industry for uptime. Excellent reputation. Yeah.
Will we hear something about this at I/O, you think?
I don't. And I wanted to talk about I/O, but one of the things that I already thought about is they got 2 hours tomorrow. And if you think about all that they're doing, you know, with Google in the Home, with the Loon project, with Project Area, Android Wear. I mean, 2 hours isn't a whole lot of time because this is Google, okay?
Yeah.
So I'm not sure we'll hear about that or not, but I do think this is going to be interesting to watch over the next few months to see what comes of this. Hey guys.
And no Vic Kondrutra doing anything.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, you know, Google wanted to show the world how to build a Chromebook, so they unveiled the Pixel. And just a gorgeous piece of hardware, but it was a Chromebook after all. And, you know, then they wanted to add LTE, and the LTE models were $1,450. But to offset this cost, Google said that they would include 100 megabytes of free data per month through Verizon. Well, guess what, guys? Verizon said, no, it really wasn't 2 years, it was 1 year. And a lot of tech journalists have gotten on this. They've called Verizon. They couldn't get a straight answer. They've spoke to Google, and Google blamed it all on Verizon. Well, guess what? Google announced just a while ago that they're going to try and make this right. If you bought a Chromebook Pixel, basically what they're going to do is they're going to give you a $150 gift card because they advertised this with this. Verizon reneged on the deal. And you know what? I'm pretty sure that on this show right here, we've talked about Verizon a lot of times being just a tad bit underhanded. In other words, when you sign a contract, Verizon expects you to honor it, but they don't necessarily expect themselves to honor it, okay? So, listen, $1,450 is a lot to pay for a Chromebook, but I really... I think Google's done the right thing here by trying to, you know, they can't do anything about Verizon, but they're saying, you know, we did tell you this, so here's a $150 gift card. Bruce, you got any comments on this, seeing as how you just did a major upgrade to your Chromebook just before we went live?
Right. No, I agree with what you're saying. I think Google did a good thing with this, and as far as, you know, Verizon reneging, you know, it's a he said, she said thing, and so Google took the high road, and I think Verizon may pay a price.
Well, they're definitely getting a big backlash because Google was straight up said, you know, we made the deal, we contracted with Verizon, this was going to be the arrangement. There's no going back on that. There's no way that Verizon can worm out of this, and even in the bottom of our article, Verizon is now saying, oh, we're so sorry, it was a big misunderstanding, we're going to work it out. Even after Google took the high road and said we're going to give the $150, Verizon is now apologizing for the mistake or the misunderstanding.
Well, whatever that means, right?
Sleaze bags.
They, you know, and one thing about Google, they've always taken the high road when it comes to their products that don't deliver. I think when those people who bought a Nexus Q, right, they refunded their money,
right,
because they pulled the product, and you know, they refunded the money here for obviously for a mistake, and they made it right, and you know, shame on Verizon. Now you know why the Amazon Fire phone is not exclusively on Verizon.
That might be a good reason why they went with AT&T. That's a good point. Yeah. Hey, Douglas Clement says, "Hey, talking about operating systems, since Google does not own Android, will they emphasize growing Chrome OS and integrate both systems in some way so they both work on mobile and PC devices?" Robert, what do you think, man?
I think there's going to be a joined relationship. I don't know that I would call it a marriage or an integration, but I think there's going to be, and it has long been rumored, that they're going to get closer and closer together. I don't think we're going to see one operating system that works both as Chrome OS and on a phone. I don't think that's going to happen, no. But they will be very, very similar to each other, very close to each other.
I would think that perhaps Android apps may eventually run in the Chrome OS environment.
Yeah.
Okay.
That kind of loose marriage that I'm.
Yeah. I don't think there's going to be a Chrome OS phone, right? I think it's going to be an Android phone. So that's how I think it would work.
I think at this point, Android is a much more powerful operating system. It's a more complete operating system. With that said, I do think, Doug, that we're going to see these two systems integrate, but we're probably years out from seeing a total integration of one and another.
Or 24 hours.
Do you have anything you want to add to that?
No, I'd like to see it. I was thinking, you know, from your mouth to God's ear. I would like to see something like this. I think it could be a good thing, you know. And as we speak, I'm going into developer mode on my Chromebook with its new 64 gigabyte SSD card, which you guys lovingly supported me in the difficult time of getting it done. So
turn it around, put it back in,
upside down.
Hey, all right, guys. Listen, I am really fired up for tomorrow. That's why I said it's Christmas Eve in June. I love Google I/O. I'm expecting great things. I'm not really expecting a lot of hardware news. I'm kind of hoping for some, but I'm not expecting any. But we did learn just before we went on air tonight here on the show. The Verge has reported that basically Bloomberg Businessweek, Sundar Pichai says that he wants to begin showing the world what Google is up to further in advance. And we are expecting to see the next version of the Android operating system unveiled at Google I/O tomorrow. I'm pretty fired up about that, guys. I always look forward to those new versions, and you know, I really got to say, we just came out of the Apple Developer Conference, the Worldwide Developer Conference, and I was very impressed with what Apple has done with iOS. I think iOS, hate me, but I think iOS did a great job of addressing a lot of the stronger points of Android with their announcements. And so, but now it's Google's turn to announce what they're going to do with Android. And
Ed West.
Robert, I'm just going to ask you, man, what do you expect tomorrow? I know you're a little bit more cynical about these events than I am. So what do you expect coming out of I/O tomorrow? Here again, we've got 2 hours. The event, the kickoff event, is 2 hours long. What do you expect out of that event?
I expect quite a bit on the Android Wear platform, and I think we'll probably see a little hardware there. Um, After looking at the HTC tablet rumor, I would not be surprised if we see that. That I'm hopeful for that. No guarantee. I think the big thing is going to be Android Wear and that ilk of product line, but I would like to see a HTC tablet come out of that.
I agree with you, Bruce.
Hey, let me tell you what'd be exciting. Forget tablets. What if they came out with a mid-price, mid-range Pixel, high-quality Chromebook? That'd be a whole lot more exciting than an 8-inch HTC Nexus tablet. For me, I think for a lot of people, man, there's a lot of people out there with Chromebooks that would love to have it a little higher end. They don't want to pay $399 for a new, Sony or Samsung or some of these other ones are out there. But that would be cool.
I've told you, give me a backlit keyboard, a gorgeous IPS display. I might even give $500 for it. Hey Jeff, what do you think, man? What do you expect coming out of the conference tomorrow?
Okay, here's one thing you're not going to hear about. You're not going to hear about Google Plus. It's not going to be like the Google Plus parade like it was before, because I think they're there with Google Plus. They're happy with where it is, and it's not going to be like the big push like it was. You're not going to hear the numbers and all that stuff. You might hear some numbers, but it's not going to be the big thing. I would love to see something exciting, something new, like how they come out. Maybe they'll probably come out with a watch and actually physically have it. I think that would be very interesting. Like they came out with the Chromecast that was out of the blue, no one knew about it, boom, it showed up, right? It was a big hit. So I think the wearables, like what Robert said, will be big. And I think the whole idea of wearables and their platform, the fit, all that stuff, is going to be like a big item in home automation. What we've been talking about will be big as well. So, but you're right. Only 2 hours. Maybe a price reduction in glass for 2 gigabytes of RAM.
Oh, boy, you keep pushing. You keep pushing. You keep riding that bicycle. Let's see how far.
Look what's happening.
Peacock.
Glass.
Jeff actually touched on one of my questions, so I'm going to ask you, Bruce. Do you agree with Jeff? No Google Plus talk tomorrow?
Man, I tell you, I typed in the chat, I would love to hear about HTML5 and the death of the Google Talk plugin, which would definitely be Google Plus related, but one can only hope. But yeah, I think we're going to hear something about it. I don't think they can, get rid of Vic and some of the rumors without at least giving some kind of a plug for Google Plus.
They might give some numbers or something. I don't believe that they're going to spend any time, on saying this is an innovation that we worked on. They're probably going to open up with some numbers that they're, we've had 5 billion Android activations a day, that sort of thing. Yeah. We've got 30,000 new members log on to Google Plus daily, and half of those are active at least once a week. That sort of thing is what I expect to hear.
Or they might give you more, like you get 15 gigabytes of Google Drive storage now. They'll just give it away or something. Something might happen.
Right. Okay, and somebody was talking about the Q and refunding that money. Are we going to hear anything about Android TV, and will Google give me my money back for the 2 Google TVs I bought?
No, you're not going to get your money back on the 2 Google TVs. A fool and his money are, easily parted. And guess what? I wish that if there was going to be something that, had to be high on my wish list, would see something along the lines of Android TV. I would just be thrilled to see something beyond the, we've gotten, 10,000 new developers for Chromecast. I want to see a true answer with Android TV. That's my ultimate. That's my Google Glass, Jeff.
I agree. I love to see them buy Arrow. That's what I'd love to see.
Yeah, and I just want to say I got some breaking news here. GooMama.com is available for purchase. $14.81 on Hover.com.
Just wait. It'll be free. You'll be able to register it for free under that URL, a free URL that no one knows how you're going to get. Yeah, by invite.
So, are we going to hear anything tomorrow about Google's little self-driving car?
I don't think so.
What about Project Loon?
I don't think there either. I don't think that is going to be such a big thing. I think that's going to be dropped in replaced with the drone aircraft stuff.
Yeah, got a better chance of hearing more about home automation than something like Loon.
Because they've been slowly releasing these little tidbits for a while, right? And like you said, Duke, they're getting smarter. The kind of little trial balloons go up now and then, and I think that's going to how they're going to whet the appetite and look at more of the home automation, home consumer products, things like that. For me, that's my guess.
All right. So, any other predictions about the Google I/O 2014 tomorrow? Starts 9 a.m. Pacific, which means it would start 12 Eastern. Any other predictions, guys?
Any suggestions on what the L word for the new Android operating system would be? Would it be licorice?
I hope not. I hate licorice.
Liechtenstein. They're going to change it to cities.
I think it's going to be lollipop. Of course, I don't know. Does Mars make any kind of candy bar that starts with an L?
I have no idea.
Yeah, it's not coming to me. That's they might sneak something like that in there.
I just have one thing that they should probably avoid: lemon cake. They should just skip that one completely. Just don't even consider that.
Yeah, lemon meringue, that would work.
But
anything with the word lemon.
And I think it's going to be paced. They're going to have a lot of information to go out, so it's going to be very quick, very paced. It'd be interesting. What?
I was just going to ask: is anybody going to be jumping out of Zeppelins? I mean, what's the tone going to be tomorrow?
I think the tone is going to be more, we're rolling up our sleeves and we've done a lot of hard work, and here's for the developers, here's all these kits and all these standards and all these tools that we're giving to you so you can write these apps to all this, new home automation wearable stuff that's beginning to roll out.
Yeah.
And remember, this is a developers conference, right? So they want to, make sure that those guys are happy and give them the tool set. So there'll be some more tool sets rolled out, just like, HealthKit.
Okay, so I think we all expect everybody who shows up with a ticket's going to get an LG Android Wear watch. Is there any other hardware that people are going to get? And you get an HTC tablet, and you get an HTC tablet.
No. Forget the glass.
Yeah, glass. Yeah, glass is not a consumer product. It's not a consumer product.
You can buy it in the UK. Come on.
Moto 360.
I'll tell you what, guys. We're going to see a Samsung watch tomorrow. We will see a Samsung Google Wear watch tomorrow. Remember I said it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, man. Before we move into the apps, hey gang, we are Tech and Coffee. We're a daily hangout. We get together and hang out every day. We drink our favorite beverages and talk tech. And if you would like to join us in the hangout, let me encourage you to head on over to techandcoffee.info. click on Join the Hangout, and we're normally in the main room. We normally get cranked up about 8 o'clock Eastern time, and a lot of times go into the night. So, yeah, come check us out. We would love to meet you. We also have a Twitter and a Facebook account. You can catch us at Tech and Coffee 1. We're on YouTube at Tech and Coffee. You can catch our podcast, and that includes this one, at Stitcher Radio and on iTunes. Our favorite social network is Google+. A search on Tech and Coffee. Look for that TNC coffee cup logo, and please follow us. Questions, comments, and snide remarks, send them to aj@techandcoffee.info. Hey, guys, what kind of apps we got this week, Bruce?
All right, my app is going to be Sunrise Calendar. I was listening to Leo Laporte on his radio show on Sunday, and a lady called in, and she was asking about calendars, and Samsung takes a lot of stuff off, and I've been working with the stock calendar on my Samsung Galaxy Note 2, and have gotten used to it. But he mentioned this thing called Sunrise Calendar, and he raved about it. He said it's just the best calendar out there for an Android phone. So I went ahead and looked at it and installed it. It's a really great phone. You can go to the Play Store and get some information on it. I like the UI. I like the way it's down. You got a 3-day week view. You've got some really pretty widgets on there, and your events will show up with maps and those types of things. One of the other things that I like about it, and I've installed this, and it's available on my Chromebook, is a desktop version, and so you have this here, and you can go from to switch from a week view to a month view, and so it's really nice, and it picks up. It will sync with all of your Evernote events. So anyway, check it out, Sunrise Calendar, and it's free.
Is it cross-platform? Does it work on iOS as well?
Yes, it does. Works on iOS also.
And
yes,
you can share. Can you share calendars?
I don't know about sharing calendars.
Yes, but basically what you're going to do, Jeff, is you're going to share calendars through your Google Plus app.
Right. Exactly.
Okay, and then it will show up in Sunrise Calendar. Absolutely.
Okay. So you use the share calendar, the Google Calendar, and then
right.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, Jeff, we've got time if you'd like to share an app.
I'm going to actually skip it for this because I want to listen to Robert's little thing and then comment about it. So I'm going to add to Robert because I know what Robert's talking about.
You have the floor, Rob.
Oh, well, man. Actually, I'm not going to do an app tonight or introduce a new app. I'm going to review one that we've all used and tell a really quick story about it. As you guys know, my wife and I just took a little beach vacation away and had a great time in Panama City, Florida. It was just awesome sunshine, lots of dolphins, lots of water, and plenty of sunburn. Ouch, ouch, ouch. On the way back, however, my wife decided she wanted to stop at her favorite pizza place as we were driving back from Panama City. We happened to be in Pensacola when she looked it up, found the address, and what did I do? I plugged it into Google Maps. Now let me share my screen, and I will kind of give you the down and dirty of this. But basically, we were in Pensacola. We were about 45 minutes away. It's a route that we had driven many, many, many times, and we knew exactly where we were going to go. And being 45 minutes away, I plugged it into the Google Maps just to make sure I could get the final turns right. And Google Maps came up and told me 1 hour and 58 minutes to my destination. It was just bizarre. I couldn't figure out for the life of me why it would tell me that it would take so long to drive what I knew was only 45 minutes. We drove on, and I was just perplexed as to why it was going to take such a long time. And finally, as I approached an upcoming exit, Google Maps, down here on the bottom where you see the travel time, okay, it was in yellow, telling me that 1 hour and 58 minutes, but it changed and told me we have a faster route available. And I was kind of like caught like a deer in headlights. well, wait, I know this way, but I don't know why it's telling me an hour and 58 minutes. Or do I trust Google and let it take me this alternate route? And in the end, my wife's stomach won out. She said, take the way Google tells you to go. Just touch it. So I touched the bottom of the screen. I accepted. And it routed us along an old highway, kind of near where the interstate was, and drove us on through to Mobile. And, of course, there's the Mobile Bay Bridge. And at several sections along that old highway, we could look up on the bridge and see traffic was at a dead stop for 30 miles. There was an accident right before the bridge, and there was an accident right at the end of the bridge, and had totally just stopped everything. By taking and trusting Google Maps, it took us the 45 minutes exactly. We avoided all of the traffic. And so it was a lesson learned on 2 points. One, you can trust the maps. They do get real-time traffic, and it's accurate. It's very, very accurate. And number two, when you're sitting in the car and you're faced with the dilemma, do I go the way I know to go, or do I go the way Google's telling me to go? 9 times out of 10, you're going to do much better just trusting Google to reroute you and go the right way. That doesn't mean be foolish about it, but do it. You will not regret it. For me, Google Maps saved me an hour of travel time, or in this case, an hour of sitting in dead stop traffic. That's my app review for tonight.
I just want to say that hearing Robert say the words "trust Google" is just worth it. It's worth its weight in gold for the show. So,
I just want to say that Robert, he went to the beach and he had the whole beach to himself. And right here's the reason why. He was wearing his tech and coffee thong, good to the last drop. And, yeah, he said he was on a public beach, but he felt like it was a private beach. And this right here is what did the trick. Hey, it may not be technology, but it still works, okay?
Yeah, but next time I got to remember to put on the sunscreen when I'm wearing the thong. Those areas don't see sunlight too often, so...
And we're very thankful.
Yes.
All right. Hey, I've got an app, but it's not necessarily an app that you're going to find in a store. And hey, guys, I've delayed. Used to whenever I got an Android device, the first thing that I would do is root it. And actually, when I got my Note, I didn't root it right away. I did end up rooting it, but I didn't do it right away. Well, guess what? I got my Nexus 5. I've had it a few months now. I actually rooted it. And but what is really unique is how I rooted it. And basically, here's how I did it. This is a Lifehacker, and a guy that I go to church with. He asked me. He said, "Have you rooted yet?" I said, "No, but I'm ready to." He said, "You need to try that towel root." I said, "What is that?" And basically this thing, it was set up by a guy to root the new Samsung Galaxy S5 phone. But once he set it up, people figured out in a big hurry that it would root other devices as well, the Nexus 5 being one of them. And guys, this thing didn't even require a reboot, okay? Basically, all I had to do with this device is navigate from my Nexus 5 to a website called towelroot.com. Okay? Once I did, a button came up that I pushed that installed the Towelroot app on my device. I had to open it and push the button, make it rain, and literally within seconds I got a note back that said that my device was rooted. I went ahead and installed my Pro version of Titanium Backup, and it confirmed that my device was indeed rooted. This root for the Nexus 5 took well less than 2 minutes. So if you're looking for an easy, painless way to root your Nexus 5, from your Nexus 5 device, open up Chrome and navigate to talroot.com. Now, just let me say, will it work on my device? Well, here are the devices that it has worked on so far. The Sony Xperia Z1 Compact, the Samsung Galaxy Note 3, the Google Nexus 5, the Google Nexus 7 2013 edition, the LG G2. Devices that it will not work on is the HTC One M8, the Moto E, the Moto G, and the HTC One Mini. Guys, I would recommend that when you do this, that you immediately install Super User, okay? Because I'm not so sure that I trust this entirely, being that it's being routed through a website. And Super User will require that all apps be granted Super User access before something malicious might happen, okay? But if you're looking for, first of all, have a good reason to root. Don't just root because you can, okay? But if you need a reason to root, I would highly recommend that you start with this one. Hey, guys, Google I.O. tomorrow. Woohoo!
We will be in the Google I.O. in the main room of Tech and Coffee. We'll have that playing, and we'll be discussing the things as it goes along. So we invite our listeners and viewers to join us once again for another major technology blowout Christmas Eve celebration, Christmas celebration, as it were.
All right. Hey, guys, we do this live every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Eastern. Thank you, guys. Thank you, viewers. And, hey, Stitcher listeners, we love you, man. Catch you guys later.